Meeting to order, so that all board members are present except for Ms. Sixberry and Mr. Scales. First, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Nelson,
Second.
second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have no one for open forum? Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda, the previous minutes from the September 26th regular board meeting and the October 7th work session. Claims and accounts, the amount of $1,932,881.29. Credit card report and personnel report.
I'll move.
Motion made by Brown,
Second.
second by Shabilian. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to donations.
I'll make a motion to approve the donations.
Motion made by Shabilian,
Second.
second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approve hockey cooperation agreement with Becker.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, if I may. The hockey cooperative agreement, this is essentially a solidifying agreement that we've had with Becker for some time now. I'm not even sure how many years it's been, but it actually kind of cleans up and formalizes our agreement with Becker. I know Becker will be reviewing this next Monday at their regular board meeting as we move into, this one's timely, as we move into the hockey season. So it does clarify some points, and actually I have both Angie and Mark here if in fact you do have some questions. I knew Angie might have had some financials and whatnot, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, do you want me to?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I just thought you might want to know the financial implications, because again, we've been working on this since I think like last June, July, and, so Kevin and I, the Director of Business Services over at Becker, sat down in July, and, with the way the agreement is worded, that the maximum cost for Big Lake, we figure will be about 10 grand. Actually, we figured out it was like 20 grand, and then it'll be split just depending on the number of participants. We were kind of just thinking maybe 10 grand, so I just want to make more aware of that.
Is that similar to what it's been in the past?
Yeah, well, it is more than in the past, just because the Booster Club initially met with Becker because they wanted some help with the finances. So we can do the levy for the ice time, but then there are some additional costs that both Becker and Big Lake are picking up.
Okay.
And then that'll be divided by the number of participants in each school, or participants in each district.
Does this change the sign up or anything like that? I mean, it's still all handled through. I mean, just if the booster club's not taking as much of a role, I'm just curious, are we increasing the obligations other than financially, or?
I think I understand your question. Our registration process is underway already, so we are registering students for that winter activity. Becker charges a different student participation fee than us, and that's gonna be an ongoing conversation. I think they're $25 more than us. I think they're $220 and we're $200. So that's really the only difference only part that's inequitable between the two student groups is the actual fee itself.
Good to know if somebody says something.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between this and the hockey association? Is there a relationship between them both, or is there a separation?
There's an ongoing relationship there, and they actually will sign this agreement as well, so that they know that this is a binding agreement between all three parties. They understand also that they are not, they're only hooked financially, but the decision-making will be between Becker and Big Lake Public Schools, so.
Okay. And is this governed through MSHSL then, or?
Yeah, we've been on Minnesota State High School League sanctioned hockey program for quite a while, so this, basically, anytime you enter into a cooperative agreement, you should have something in place other than just the document from the high school league that you fill out, an application process, and this is quite common between school districts when you talk financials. one of those and whether we're gonna do a cost per participant, charge back to the other school or not. We have Spectrum in tennis, and then we have this one in hockey, and then we also have, Princeton and, Becker in girls hockey, and then the lacrosse one too, so about 6 of them, I think.
Never seen this one previously.
This one?
Yeah. So did this not?
It's been in existence a long time.
Yeah.
It's been in,
It just hasn't been formalized.
Yeah, I just kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, so I haven't formalized it.
Truly, when you,
That's right.
truly when you take,
It's new.
right,
Okay.
truly when you take board action, the Minnesota State High School League says you must be in a minimum of 2 years for an agreement. So that's why we specifically wrote this one in 2-year increments. And according to statute, then we can renew for 2 additional years without coming back to the board
Mhm.
because of the contracts,
Okay,
so.
thank you, I was just kind of confused.
Yeah,
It's new,
it's
and I
new,
wasn't
too.
sure if it was renewal.
it's been around for just cause my son used to
Mhm.
play
Yeah.
hockey and he's been out for 4 years now. It's been around for a long time, there was just no formalized,
Right.
Okay.
Right, it's been
Agreement.
around since I've been here, that's a
Yeah.
long time.
And I thought so, but I just wasn't sure if something.
yeah. It's been around since my son joined hockey when he was 4.
Right, I just wasn't
So-
sure if there was something like systemically that changed, that we had this agreement now in place, and it's just cleaning up the loose.
I'll be honest with you, we kind of noticed that we didn't have an agreement,
Got it.
so we
That
wanted to
makes
make sure that we had everything in order,
Right.
and also too, I believe the association went and visited the Becker School Board, asking for some additional support with the more
Right.
financials and whatnot.
Right.
So it really kind of brought a lot
Mhm.
forward, and we thought, well, we should clean this up,
Yeah.
now that we know, we have to do it better. So this is the work that's been happening since June and July, and then Mark got involved in July as well, so.
The other unique part about this, sometimes when you get involved with booster clubs funding programs to get them going, they eventually will sunset them on you. And then the pressure is on the board to either absorb that cost, and this one specifically said, protects us for another 2 years, that no, we're not doing really anything differently. There's a commitment there from this booster club to continue to financially support it.
So when there's that type of relationship that's involved, do we have access or the ability to request finances from those organizations when they're directly involved in that relationship?
This cleans that up as well, our participation fees, we would issue them a check for those participation fees to help offset the expenditures. Now, this year with the online ticketing, we're gonna absorb the online ticketing, and then we'll have that financial ourselves between Becker and us, so we'll have a much cleaner process with finances as to where the revenue's coming from, where we're expending things, so.
Before it was.
Derek,
just
as a
check.
parent that was in the Blue Line Club, we could ask for the financials at any time.
Okay.
Cause I had to fork over about $4,000 a year to play high school
Well,
hockey, so.
and I know just in talking with Kevin,
Yeah.
I think Kevin may have asked, because I know he met with the Booster Club initially, and I think he did ask for some information, so, I guess in answer to your question, yes.
And not just in relation to hockey, but just in general, when we have those relationships where there is an association directly involved, we are able to, if we wanted to, even as a board member, to take a look at finances and see where things were at? Is that something that it would be for the purpose of, if we've got multiple schools involved, plus now an association, I know parents can ask for things.
Yeah.
I'm
That
just
would-
curious.
Well,
That's
with
probably under
501
management.
With 501c3s, you have to report, when you become a 501c3, which is what a lot of booster clubs are doing now, because then they're tax exempt, they have to file taxes and financial reports on a yearly basis as part of their bylaws. So they have to keep that information, and if they don't, then that's the state auditor that's gonna get involved in that piece of it, but, yeah.
I would say that if there is a specific board member that would like to see that information, they would funnel that through me,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
otherwise.
That's what I was trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I think that we would work through me on that one, just because you don't want individuals just saying, I'm a board member, I have a right to that, that's not how that exactly works.
Nope, that sounds good.
Funnel it through, and then we would share it with the whole board.
Right.
That makes sense?
We need a motion for it.
I will make a motion to approve the cooperative agreement.
I'll second.
Second by Nelson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Financial report.
All right, the financial report, the first one. You could just call that up there. Yeah. There we go. So we'll report right away on enrollment. I'll just go through this quickly. Enrollment, we had some great news. We had an increase of 23 ADMs or average daily membership. Most of the increases I noticed were in the middle school, high school, and 612 did right online. And so right now we're 25 above our budgeted stated enrollment. Now we're already November 1st, it's just next week, so I'm gonna check it again. And then when I present a fall budget revision in November, I more than likely will increase our general education aid budget. So that's the enrollment side of it, and then, and you can see that graphically, we're way above budget. To keep going, Stephanie. And then this next slide is just information on our summer term unemployment costs, because we did just get our quarter, it's called our quarter 3 bill. So this gives you an idea of, as I expected, our costs did increase this past summer, because I just really believe last year in 23, a lot of, I just think a lot of people didn't file because they just didn't really understand Allward. But funding, they're telling us, is likely secure in the current year, 24-25. I just submitted a survey today. MDD wanted a survey of an estimate of our summer term 24 costs and an estimate of June of 25. So they are going to update their forecast, and they're telling us we should know by maybe December, January on how much longer the funding will last. And we have a legislative session coming up. So a budget session, I should say. So lastly, I wanted to bring this to the board because this came up kind of by accident, where we were doing some planning for the new family, or for the new paid leave, or paid family medical paid leave. And it came to my attention that school board members are not covered under our workers' comp policy. And so I worked with our agent, and I said, and he had to actually go to the underwriter. He wasn't aware of it either. So I want to bring this to the board because in order for school board members to be covered, they have to pass a resolution, which I can bring next month. The cost of the district is less than $100. I really recommend that I bring that back at November. I think there should be coverage for school board members. You could be at a conference, whatever it may be, and something happens. So I am suggesting that I bring this forward. I'm gonna talk to MSBA, see if we get a sample one, and then I'll bring it back at the November meeting. Does that sound okay to school board members? Yeah, I was caught off guard by that. That caught our insurance agent off guard too. So, that's all I have. Oh, sorry, I do have one more thing. Jim wanted me to talk about the finance committee. We did have a finance committee meeting last Tuesday. We did go over our audit results. The auditors will be here at the November 21st meeting. And then we also talked about investment options for the OPEB trust fund and possibly increasing the maximum amount we can invest in equity investments. I'm going to, well, first I would like to meet with Amber when she gets back. I'm gonna go over the information with her. And then this would require a change to our investment policy, and I would bring that to the November meeting as well. So that's what we talked about at the finance committee meeting last Tuesday.
Just more favorable option, is that?
Yeah, it could potentially increase our
Higher yield,
investment
yeah.
rate of return.
Sure.
Yeah, to make the money last longer in the OPEB trust.
On the summer employment, I know I sent you some questions.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Just percentage-wise, I mean, I didn't ask you that I just am thinking out loud. I mean, the percentage of our employees that are taking that summer
Yeah.
unemployment, do you think that there's still gonna be growth there? I mean, what are we at as far as how many
That's
took
a
it
very-
last summer?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Last summer we had probably, because I have to report how many. I
Okay.
think it was like 60 some, 60 and
Okay.
61, 62.
Out of,
Well, we always thought there was about 90 to 95 eligible, and then, so in the survey I just reported today, I reported 81.
And I know, like, I could look at the list and go, oh, I know this person did it, this person did, so there's still some people that are not. Don't know why, that's not, but there, it could be more. And so in answer to your question, I think it could be, we just don't know.
Okay,
You
and
know.
when you consider those 81 eligible, those are people that are not engaging in the summer school and those kind of things.
Right,
Those are
right,
where they're not
right, but-
committed up.
But also too, though, if they work, say, if they work in summer school, but it's not an equivalent amount that they're earning, they get the difference.
Still get the difference, right?
Mhm.
Okay, do we have some taking advantage of that?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't, yeah.
Okay, so about 60 out of 80.
Yeah, so just this past summer, we had 81.
Got it.
And I've always thought that there would, like when I was initially doing my estimates when this came, I was thinking there would, like, I literally was counting paraeducators, that's our largest
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
And I was thinking 90, 95.
Okay.
But you also have clerical, because they had to put it by categories, so you have paras, clerical. They asked for food service and transportation, which doesn't impact us because we contract out, although that may be reflected in,
Upcoming contract.
we in fact, the transportation contract is up this year, so we need to renegotiate for next 4 years. What was the other, and then the other category, like we have lunchroom monitors, health assistants, so there was like a small amount in this other category, and then I had to outline who they were.
Thank
So, yeah. Any other questions?
I will make a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll second.
Second by Nelson. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Second reading of policies.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, second reading. Obviously, this was brought forward last month for a first read. This is our standard process, and next month it will move forward unless, of course, there's questions.
Angie already gave the financial committee report. Policy committee, we haven't met, correct? Since
Correct.
last board meeting?
Correct.
Okay, building and grounds, have you met?
No, we have not yet.
Any other school board representative?
Staff, see?
Staff, yeah, it's staff, and I was out of town, so I am halfway through the recording of the meeting. So it was, so far, it was very interesting. Peter Leatherman, I always get the names confused. Peter Leatherman, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yes, is in my mind, giving a very good presentation at the moment, but I can sure forward that on to the rest of the board or.
Yeah, I requested a copy of it as
Okay.
well, because I
Awesome.
had technical difficulties last Friday,
Yeah.
so I'll be watching that as well, but I know Peter was on the agenda, and he always does this, it's an
Yes.
annual thing, that he always
Yes.
comes to this one, and it's the first one, it kind of gives an outlook on lots of things.
Mhm.
It's always interesting, plus he's a good presenter.
Yeah.
And he's very
Is it
knowledgeable.
like statewide data?
Yep.
It is.
It is, and it's really interesting.
I will put that on the list to send it to you. And then, the new, lobbyists came to the
Hmm.
meeting and introduced themselves. Just really feeling good about that. They have a lot of experience, a lot of energy, really, really good, focus on the mission of equalization and fair funding for the non-metro schools.
Did they talk about platform?
Yeah, so our legislative platform, it is basically what it has always been, and
Mhm.
we are advocating for, greater equalization, is kind of our big, but I'll send that to the board as well,
And I think that's one of the differences too, because I think some of the feedback that C received was that they were spread a little bit too
Yeah.
thin, and they had too many focuses and too many
Yeah.
points for the legislative changes. So
Yeah.
narrowing the focus was a request from the membership,
Yeah.
and I think, like I said,
from the
I think
executive board, we were very,
I think that was
that
heard
was
loud and clear.
our message too from the
Yes.
executive board level is that, we need to,
Yeah,
we can't be diluted. We are here for one thing, our members we are,
absolutely.
taxpayers want this, we want this for our taxpayers, we're spending taxpayer dollars, let's get it done. So, they've already reached out to like MREA and MSBA to try and, let them know that that's what we're advocating for and, extend that, so. Yeah, that's
Any other meetings? Probably not.
I can't think of any other meetings. I don't think so.
Okay, superintendent report.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I do have just a couple items for you. First and foremost, thank you for the flexibility Thank you for toughing out. Things in life happen sometimes and we're forced to make changes to some schedules. So I appreciate it. We're here. We got the business accomplished and it's taken care of. So thank you for that. I want to just report back on a couple things. Community Connect, I know Lynette was there. I just want to share some numbers with you. As you recall, this was a connection where we had a lot of, through United Way, and we had a lot of services for our communities. And we were set up in the middle school, and this is the first time over the past couple years it's been in Elk River High School, and this is the first year that we've had it here in Big Lake. It's something that when I heard, we had a similar program like that up in Malacca when I was up there, and it was a big success. Lots of people participate. They give away coats and shoes, and they have up there the haircuts and all kinds of services for people.
Lunch for free.
Lunch for free, and it was really great. So in 2022 they had 237 attendees, and that was in 22. And in 23 they had 183 attendees. This year they had 960 attendees. Yeah. So Cat wrote in here, read that again, 960. That's 5 times the amount of people attending. So 53 vendors, 43 haircuts, 455 coats were given out. And more would have been, but they ran out.
They ran out of coats.
That's right. And Lynette was there. What group were you? Food Show.
No, I was there for United.
United Way, okay, yeah. Yeah, and so I know I visited with her a little bit. And also
I think
407.
it was 50-something vendors.
Yep, there was 53 vendors. Yep, and there was 478 pairs of shoes given away. So this is the first year that we partnered with Wright County, but they always have a form they fill out as they walk in, and about a third of the attendees were from Wright County and 2/3 from Sherburne County. And I think our location was more centrally located.
It was awesome.
And it was
Thanks,
great.
Stephanie.
Yeah, I think just to have this site and this spot worked out really well. We served a lot of people that day in a lot of ways.
I
think
heard
it was.
lots of good feedback.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it really worked out quite well. So excited for that. So that's a good thing. Hopefully we'll have again next year, and we'll keep that ball rolling. Quick referendum update. Oh my goodness, a week away, right? It's like, and I did send out that reminder to people yesterday. Hopefully you received that as well. And with just a suggestion, hey, if there's other last minute questions or information that people want to know, please feel free to reach out, and whatever you do, don't forget to vote. I did that yesterday, I believe it was. Also yesterday we hosted a chamber meeting, the membership meeting at the community room, and John, Principal Devo, gave a really nice presentation on STEM. You've all seen versions of that already. But 5 years ago, her first year, she also presented to the chamber as it was starting. And so now that it's 5 years in, it was neat. She used some of the same slides and just added to them. It was kind of neat to see the progression. And they were really impressed because they're thinking some of the, the 4 C's and all that kind of information. They're thinking future employees, a lot of these chamber members. So it was really neat to see. John did a great job, really proud of that. But in the end, I was also able to kind of give my 5 to 10 minute spiel on the referendum and had a few questions around that, but people were really open to listening and be informed. So that's really good. Also, we're making last minute pushes for emails, reminders to vote. Ironically, this is funny, kind of, not really, weather notification test. We sent out an information, sent out an email earlier this week saying we're going to be testing for weather. Well, it just so happens, I have one site saying we're going to get 5 to 8 inches tomorrow, so we'll see. Yeah, no, it's not that.
No, I'm excited.
But also on there, we're going to say this is a test. Make sure you notify the office or update your whatever if you need to have it in a text message or whatever.
It was on social media.
Social media, yeah. And then I'm also going to say, and don't forget to vote. So we'll utilize that as well. So that'll be good. Want you to know that we have communications prepared, ready to go for the results. Whether it's a yes vote or a no vote, so we're prepared either way, and just be monitoring that Secretary of State site for the results, and I'll be communicating via text individually and whatnot as the results come in, and so we'll see. It's a week away, and we've got the information out, and I'm hopeful that people understand what they're voting on. That's what I'm hopeful for. So that's where that's at. Last but not least, from around the district, I want to just acknowledge Ben Bonnet. This was from earlier this month. So Ben, as you recall, took Teresa's original position as the SEL coordinator, now has kind of morphed into the MTSS coordinator. But part of that role, he has really reconnected with a lot of the county services, and he has really made an effort to do that. Teresa kind of laid the groundwork for it, but Teresa has really taken, or Ben has really taken it and expanded, and we received a really nice email from county leadership saying, "We are incredibly thankful to have Ben on our committees, helping to serve our residents, reduce mental health stigma, and represent Big Lake schools with pride and respect. His dedication and hard work have made a substantial impact on our community, and we truly value his leadership and contributions." And when I get nice compliments like that about individuals, I like to pass it on. So Ben is, he's a quieter person, but he really does a really nice job for us. So I'm really happy with the services he's been able to kind of bring to the team, and should be really proud about that. So from a calendar perspective, we are already in November, people. So I'll quick whip through some of these. No school for K-5 Friday. November 5th, Election Day, of course. November 6th, Lynette and Ashley, we have SEIU negotiations. Veterans Day is on November 11th. We don't have school because it's a PD day. But on November 12th, we have our Independence, we have our Veterans Day program. And there was an RSVP. I was told that we have, just a second, I think there was 131 people RSVP'd. So that's good, because those individuals have been invited to, yes, 131. They're invited to show up at about 8:15, and then they'll be getting some caramel rolls and their veterans and caramel rolls and whatnot. I actually handed this out at Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. I've been seeing Bruce a lot at different meetings. So I sit next to him all the time. He's very friendly. So I'm excited to see the program that they have. It's always really neat, and what a fantastic way to honor our veterans. So I'm really happy that we do that. Yeah, absolutely. Color guard, I'm assuming. Yeah, he does. Him and his crew does a really nice job. So, Big Lake Community Education Advisory Council, Lynette, on the 12th.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
meeting.
Yep, 5:30. And Policy Committee is scheduled for the 13th. So Ashley, Tanya, and Derek. That's at 5:30 to 6:30. On the 14th, a week later than normal, because as you recall, in order to canvass the votes, you have to wait the number of days. So we have a special board meeting on November 14th to canvass the votes, and that'll just evolve right into a work session. And during that work session, we will have Minda speak about her data that was going to originally be for this month, as well as Stephanie's got a video that she's going to show about kind of a community ed update as well during that. So I'm excited to see those things. So November 14th, and then November 19th is another SEIU negotiations. Our regular meeting is on the 21st, when we have the auditors coming. And so a little bit longer meeting, only because we have that really important information to review, as well as those important topics to cover. And then on November 27th, we have no school, which is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, because we have a PD day that day. And then 28th and 29th is Thanksgiving break. So I will send all these out in my weekly as well, and I will make sure you have those on your calendars. And we'll send invites out and whatnot. So that actually concludes my report, unless of course there's questions.
Any questions for Sir? I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.